Okay, so what we want to do is we want to try and get similar data to what we got in this paper here. So you can, if you scroll down to the bottom, you can see the type of data they got. And they got a lot of different data for different types of lizards. These are all species names here. This is a bearded dragon, for example. They got some turtles, some crocodiles, as well as some mammals, some bats and panthers and so forth. But what we want to focus on are the varanids. And you can see the varanids here. They've only got a few species here, and that's what we really want to try and bulk up the data set and see if we can see a pattern there. And the reason we're choosing varanids is because if you look at the pattern for all the other mammals and all the other lizards, the varanids sort of stick out as this blue line here with not a lot of change. And we think this is probably something to do with the fact that they don't have enough individuals. Maybe just one individual here is putting the pattern out. So we can add more to this. We can sort of understand where varanids sit. They might lie on this red line, and we just need to figure that out. So what do we need to collect? Well, if you look at this table, it shows you really the data that they collected. So they focus on the femur too. We can do the femur, and we can also try some other bones as well to see if they all go scale the same way. So you need to get volume, mass, and length. And then with the foramen, you need to get the area and the diameter. And then calculate this Q value, which is just this radius to the power of 4 divided by the length of the femur. And then we're going to get this metabolic rate data, which we can get from the literature, and some body mass data, which we can get from the literature as well. So that's what we're going to try and collect. And what I'm going to show you how to collect today is how to collect this area. And from that area, we'll be able to collect this diameter data. And later, when we get the length of these bones as well, we'll be able to calculate this Q value too. So the way we're going to do this is very similar to what we did in second year. We're going to use ImageJ. So you can download ImageJ onto your computer. It's free. Just Google ImageJ. And then I sent you a link to these images, and you can just drag and drop them into ImageJ. And if you do that, you'll see that there's this ruler, and these distances are 1 millimeter apart. And here's our nutrient foramen here. So the first thing we have to do is calibrate the field of view. We're going to do that using this line tool here. I'm going to draw a line from the bottom of one of these measurements to the bottom of the next. And then I'm going to go analyze, set scale. And that's going to put the distance in pixels of that line. And I know the distance is going to be 1,000, and the units are going to be micrometers. It's 1 millimeter is equal to 1,000 micrometers. So I can just click OK. Now it's going to give me all my units in micrometers. Let's see which units they use. So they use millimeters. Maybe it's better if we use millimeters too. So if we go analyze, set scale, and I'll just make it 1 millimeter. Okay. Oh, we can also be more accurate if you can use, say, a couple of millimeters. Now this is going to reduce my error. So if I go analyze, set scale, and now the known distance is, well, it's already guessed 3 millimeters, but that's 3 millimeters. Okay, so I can set my scale. So now I've calibrated my field of view, and you have to do that for each image. Now I want to work out the area of this foramen. And what you see is actually got this weird oval shape. That's because the hole itself is sort of, it goes into the bone in this direction. You can see it trailing off this way. So we can't actually look at the angle where it would appear like a circle. Instead, it looks like the end of a feather or a cut off feather, where it sort of tapers off towards this end, and this is the opening that's going to leave down. That doesn't matter too much, because I'm going to use the circle tool, and I'm going to try and fill in this area here with the circle tool, and that's going to give me a really good area estimate anyway. So I can click on this circle tool here, and you'll notice if you do that, you can make a circle, and it can be any shape you want. But I really want to constrain this to be a circle, so I'm going to hold Shift. And by holding Shift, you can see it's always going to remain a symmetrical circle. So I can make this whatever size I want. Then I can move it to wherever I want it to be, and then just resize that and move it, and then resize it again and move it until I'm happy that it's filling in that little hole there. And you'll be able to look at one of the other papers that we uploaded, this Hugh Nelson one, where they actually give you best practices and they show you how they went about doing this. And they did a very similar thing to what we're doing here. You can see here they tried to fill in this oval and get some lengths as well. So we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to estimate area that way. So now I've got my circle. I can go, oops, that was the wrong thing to do. I'm going to go Shift M. Oh, I have to click on image show. Shift M, and that's gonna, no, what am I doing? Control M. That's what I'm looking for. Control M, and that's gonna bring up this measurement thing, and you can see I've got an area here of 0.4. Now we're going to repeat this a few times, so I'm going to click somewhere to remove my circle. I'm going to hold Shift, and I'm going to move it there. Maybe resize it slightly, still holding Shift. Yep, that looks good. Control M, got my second, and a third attempt there. I'm pretty happy with that. Control M. Okay, so there are my three numbers. I'm going to get an average of these. So what we can do is copy them and put them into Excel here, and I'm going to label this as species, which in this case is Panoptes, and this is ID individual, which case it's Panoptes 2. So these are all Panoptes, and this is area, and we don't really care about these other ones here, so I'm just going to delete them. Okay, so that's what I'm going to go to do, and you're going to go and do that for all of the photos that we've sent you. Oh, we should also put what bone it is. So here we can put bone, and in this case it's a radius. If you don't know what bone that is, you can look that one up, but it's one of the bones in the forearm as well. So there we go, we've got some bones, and we can see to the different bone scale as well, so we can add a little bit extra onto what that paper did as well. So I'm going to save this, and I'm going to upload this to Slack as well. But that's about it. Any questions? Just let me know.